over the years have been pretending to do sports. They have been pretending to be investing in the game. They have been pretending to be investing in sports. Over the years, governments have pushed money into areas where there's an opportunity to award contracts. So the focus of governments has been to push money into areas where there's going to be the possibility of awarding contracts. They are interested in capital expenditure projects because contracts will be awarded. In the space of infrastructure, we all know how governments have been interested in organizing tournaments, all sorts of crazy budgets, all sorts of infrastructure put up, only to be left to rot post-tournament. Nathan, it's always been, let's build this, let's build that. AstroTurfs will be built without paying attention to standards. Resource centers are being built, left abandoned. Nathan, it's been trying to solve the problem of sports infrastructure only to benefit a few in terms of awarding contracts and benefiting hugely. But governments have never paid attention to investing in the talent. So apart from the Black Stars, who the governments that we've seen will go every extent to make sure they are well taken care of. Every other national team, every other sports federation can go to hell. That has been how sports has been run in this country when it comes to government's deep involvement. So, the junior national teams, the female national teams, the boxing, amateur boxing, amateur boxers, hockey teams, swimming teams, Nathan, whatever they choose to do, athletics teams, whatever they choose to do, government does not care about investing in their talents. The focus would always be where there's a contract to be awarded and where we can find funds to make sure those deals come off. That is the focus of government when it comes to sports development in this country. How do we develop sports like this? How? Nathan, you see, the Black Stars seems to be the only area government wants to invest in when it comes to sports in this country. Why? Because there's always an opportunity again for people to use that as a trump card to trumpet the achievement when they come to power. So government A qualified for this tournament, government B didn't qualify. It becomes a campaigning platform. So all our resources would have to be channeled into Black Stars. Nathan, this has got to end. Government must begin to start giving equal attention to all our national teams. Government must begin to start paying attention to making sure sports federations that have organized themselves well before the NSA are well resourced to take care of the talents they seek to nurture and develop. Okay? And if government is concerned about developing sports, and if government is interested in pursuing the research agenda in sports, they must be seen to be doing the right things and investing in the right places. Why am I on this matter this morning? Yesterday, when I sought to do my investigations, I realized that the problem of the Black Queens is a money problem. The reason why the Queens have had to travel 10 hours by road to camp is a money problem. And I dare say that nobody within the FA, nobody within the sports space will preside over the Black Stars traveling by road for 9 hours to any tournament or to any camping base. Nobody will do that because they are prioritized. Their needs are a priority to government. When I continue digging deep, I even discovered that at the just ended WAFCON Under 20 tournament, when I told you the boys were left the boys were left hungry, it was because, again, government refused to honor their part of the bargain in terms of taking care of the national team, the under 20 national team. And Nathan, when I say government, who am I speaking to?
Sporty FM.
I'll speak to the finance minister and the president this morning. Nathan.
Why won't you add the sports minister?
No, you see, the sports ministry is in a position where we seem to put all our blames on.
Mm-hmm.
We seem to accuse them of everything. But they are supposed to carry out a certain mandate based on a certain policy direction of the government or the executive. Okay? So, if the sports ministry is starved of resources, there's a ripple effect.
Okay.
But when they are starved, because the sports ministry always keep quiet, we would quickly go and blame them for not doing what they ought to do. But there's a root cause, and the root cause has got to do with what they need and whether it is provided for them.
I get you.
So, Nathan, I can confidently tell you that the Black Queens, the budget they presented for this tournament, as we speak, is sitting on the desk of Mr. KCL Atufosi. Not approved. And if a budget is not approved, where do the resources come from? The sports ministry would have to go and look for funds. The sports ministry would have to go and appeal for funds to make sure a national assignment for the Black Queens is honored. That clearly cannot happen. So Mr. KCL Atufosi, who has been credited with forcing certain dynamics within the economy to change, has failed to approve the budget for the Black Queens to go and play at the WAFCON tournament in Morocco. That is my discovery, Nathan.
I see. So the people with the money have
not released the money.
Okay.
How is the sports ministry now expected to deliver on the mandate of taking care of the national team together with the Ghana Football Association? How is that supposed to be the case? And Nathan, what even shocked me more was the fact that the national under 20 team, as we speak, the budget that was presented for them to go and play in Egypt, that budget has still not been approved for every money to be released for these boys to be taken care of months after the tournament.
But the tournament has ended.
Nathan, I am saying that they had to perform magic in Egypt. How can government be behaving like this? Is this the reset of the sports sector that we were promised? We still have to be complaining about money issues today just to make sure sports gets to the level we want it to get to. You see, Nathan, these girls who are currently in camp in Morocco, if care is not taken, what happened in Brazil 2014 will happen in Morocco even before they kick a ball. And this time they will not wait to play games before they strike. What happened in Brazil 2014, which made His Excellency the President's government unpopular at that time. And if the President is listening to us this morning, he should not let lightning strike the same place twice. In his first term as President of this Republic, if you go and look at his scorecard, sports did terribly well. In fact, sports was the most terrible performer. If you go and look at the scorecard, this government's performance in sports was abysmal. You remember when we went to Brazil and created that embarrassing scene? Because we did not do the right things right from home. We want the same thing to repeat itself in Morocco with the girls. Okay? So we want, very late in the day, the girls to boycott training, boycott games, and then we will now have to react. Mr. Atufosi, this shouldn't be happening. If Mr. Atufosi is concerned about the economy and inflation numbers dropping, he should be concerned about releasing money for the queens who are currently on national service in Morocco. That should be where his focus should be going. If indeed we want to do a reset. We are not expecting, and you see, there's history to this. The Black Queens know that they can be convinced to go and play the tournament on empty stomachs and be promised whatever is due them post the tournament. But we've seen Black Queens go and picket at the sports ministry with placards appealing for monies that is due them to be paid before. So they will not wait for that to happen. They will strike now. And Nathan, for 2 weeks the girls have been in camp, no per diem. The girls have had to leave camp after their 2 weeks training and travel by road 10 hours to their final camping destination. Nathan, how does that happen? And the simple reason is that there's a financial challenge.
Sporty FM.
Mr. President, you cannot allow Brazil to repeat itself. Mr. President, you cannot allow sports to embarrass you again as president of this republic. If funds must go to national teams, let the funds be released immediately and as soon as possible. If money must go to the Black Queens to make sure they have a successful campaign in Morocco, whatever the outcome of the results, they are representing the nation.
Yeah.
And they must be taken care of. Whatever their needs are must be provided. The finance minister, if he's listening to me this morning, he cannot starve sports of the needed funds, the needed resources. We've always known that all these tournaments were on the calendar of the sports of the sports ministry. We've always known that other federations have other plans on the calendar of the sports ministry, and all of these engagements require funds. Mr. Atufosin,
This is
why are you sitting on the budget?
Voice of Sport.
If cabinet has to approve this budget, why is cabinet sitting on these budgets? Why are the resources not released? Why are the funds not released? I think that if we want to do sports well, if we want to take care of the talents, if we want to pay attention to the talents, let us treat them well. Let us show them some respect. If the Black Stars will not be treated in this manner, don't treat the other national teams in this manner. Let's give them some respect. Let's show them some respect. If they are honoring the nation in any capacity, let's let them feel proud to serve the nation. This morning, I am appealing to the finance minister and the president. They should take action as soon as possible. They should make sure funds are released to the Black Queens as soon as possible to avert the repeat of Brazil. If the president wants sports to embarrass him in his second term as president, they can continue on this tangent. They can continue holding the funds. They can continue starving the national teams. They can continue starving the federations and expect them to perform magic wherever they go. But when it comes to the national team, the Black Stars, the male national team, they can give them all the money in the world and come and tell us they are developing sports. Okay? Nathan, this morning, we don't want to come back again and hear the Black Queens crying. And we don't want
Anybody to blame
the players for whatever performance they put out there in Morocco. Nathan, let us be fair to our national teams. And let us be fair to other federations as well. If sports must develop, Honorable Minister, it hinges heavily on finances. It hinges heavily on investing in the right places, including the talent. Please, let's not do this. Let's not do this. The Black Queens are participating in the WAFCON tournament, the equivalent of the Africa Cup of Nations that the male teams performing.
Yep.
They go and play and not perform. But still, we are ready to pump a lot of money there. The women are playing in the women's version of the AFCON. Nathan, why should the women be treated like this? Why should our ladies be treated like this? Why should we do this to them? And simply because a budget that has been presented weeks, months ago, is still sitting on the desk of Mr. K.C. Atufosin, the finance minister. Please. Managing an economy goes beyond inflation and every other matter.
Sporty FM.
Sports is part of the economy. Sports is part of the economy. So if he wants us to applaud him for reducing the effect of, in fact, if he wants us to applaud him for participating or contributing to the appreciation of the cedi against the dollar, and wants us to applaud him for dropping inflation numbers, the sports that he has decided not to pay attention to, the sports that he has decided to score 0 points for, by failing to release funds for us to go and do whatever we have to go and do. To go and do necessary things at a tournament. Please, Mr. Atufosin, we are appealing to you this morning. Wherever the money is, find it for the sports ministry to take care of the girls. Find the money for the sports ministry to take care of the under-20 team. And find the money for the sports ministry to stop telling federations there's no money. I'm done.
Problem solve, same time we be solution.
So that's the word this morning. It's a very simple thing. Just make money available. So Ray, so it doesn't. So you see, yesterday I was asking when the questions when I was asking. You were asking some questions that, okay, could it be that people hadn't sent their budgets and all? So it's clear that the budgets had been sent.
Oh, yes, of course.
And they were sent at the right time.
Very well.
So the issue is that the person who has the money has not released the money.
Yes, for onward transfer.
Yeah, so Mr. Finance Minister, I don't see how this is a big deal. I really don't see how this is a big deal. The budget came to the sports ministry. The sports ministry will obviously relay that budget to you or let the powers that be know that this is what we are going to do. And it's not like the WAFCON sneaked up on us. No. We knew it was coming. We knew the team had qualified. So why do we, see, I always say that, why do we like avoidable problems?
This is what we did before Brazil. Why was the same thing we did before Brazil?
Like avoidable problems? Very avoidable problems. We have qualified for a competition. Clearly, it will come with cost. Let us prepare, pay what we have to pay, give players their money, and then they go and play. That's it. Why? You see, why do we always want to let the cause of our problems be the avoidable reasons? Why can't we say, oh, we went to the tournament, we did all we could, but when we got there, we were 2 levels lower than everybody? Then we will understand.
Fair.
But the point is that the Queens have been in camp. There's nobody there. Nobody's checking on them. We accuse the FA of all the evils and all the bad things, sometimes very correctly. But in this case, how can we fault them when the national teams are supposed to be taken care of on a financial level by the state? The FAs don't take care of national teams. They administer them, manage them, but all money matters are not their headaches. But in this case, now we've kind of tied their hands and they are doing all they can, pumping money into the Queen's team to ensure that everything's okay. But how much can they even do anyway?
Absolutely.
You see, so, Mr. Finance Minister, we beg you, please collaborate with the Honorable Sports Minister. And the Honorable Sports Minister, if there's a challenge, you see, you are not dealing with strangers.
Nathan, all these years, the sports ministry, from every sports minister I've seen, they don't talk. They don't talk, oh. You see, so it will now look as if the sports ministers are not doing well. They are not performing.
But you see,
but they're quiet.
I don't know why
they don't voice out.
If there's a challenge, speak to the finance minister. If there's an impediment, speak to your overall boss, the president. If he has to jump in to shake things for it, do it. Because when you don't, it is your own reputation. And I'll tell you, for example, I'll open the phone lines in a second. Otunfa from East Legon. So now, because of all of this, now we are all getting collateral damage. Otunfa from East Legon says that we were coddling the sports minister's PA when he came around. You see?
Yeah.
Because somebody is not doing their work. All of us will all be roped into this problem.
Yeah.
Do we pay Black Queen?
No, we don't.
So that's why you see, when you don't do your work, it will trickle down and all of us will get the heat for it. Meanwhile, it's a very simple problem to solve. Anyway, let's open the phone line.
But you see, Nathan, I am hoping that, you see, from this point on, ministers of state, in whichever role they find themselves, if there are problems, they should speak out. Go public. Any sector, whether you are doing sanitation or wherever, go public. If you are being starved of resources, to deliver. I feel that should be the approach. And any government that is listening, if your minister goes public once, listen to it.
If they go public once,
yes, that should be it.
People will start.
No, I think that, no, look, Nathan, we have blamed the sports ministry for everything that has gone wrong, including a minister going to sit before a committee and weep because monies were not released in time for things to be settled. When the free anchor went to the committee, the Jamaica committee to go and cry, was it his money was supposed to use to take care of the Black Stars?
No.
It was the state that was supposed to release the money.
Yeah.
But because of the delays, he had to be in the middle of that storm. Okay? That is why he was weeping before a committee.
And to be honest,
He didn't have to
lots
cry.
of reputations got damaged after that
Absolutely.
episode.
We do not want a repeat of that. And the president should be minded that was what sank his government in 2014. That was the beginning of the problems of his government in sports. He shouldn't be hoping that there's a repeat of that. That's what I'm saying. The president should avoid lightning striking the same place twice. Let us do the needful. And if we want to do sports, let us do it well later.
Anyway, let's open the phone line 054-257-1061. 054-257-1061. 054-257-1061. 054-257-1061. Give us a call. Let's hear from you. What do you make of all of this that's happening with the Black Queens? I think we have a call on the line. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, Nathan. Good morning.
Yes. Good morning.
Nathan, this is for.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, please.
Nathan, you see, unfortunately, sometimes I think we've been complaining all these years, like back and forth, and it seems like nobody has the solution to our problem. I don't know why. Like, so the people are not just working. People are not working. This how to call him? Like, telling me our bosses. This first minister. This man came ranting and then cracking. Oh, Charlie, make you guys don't worry. Charlie, the plaster budget will come before. Even the president didn't emphasize on the fact that, you know, they are the taxpayers and they deserve to go before the every tournament kick off, blah, 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 blah. Charlie, nothing to show. This will then be liars like, Charlie, Nathan, the way football they want to have up with this politics football they play.
Calm down.
Charlie,
Calm down.
When this PA came to you, for your office, now you guys to do the boys, this boys chat with him. Like, I don't know, it was boys chat you guys did with him.
Okay. Otunfo, let me ask you a question. So relax.
Yeah.
So what did you want? You wanted us to draw knives at him or what?
Nathan, listen to me. You see, we Black Stars budget has always been a problem. And you guys just asked him and Charlie, I didn't just say, and then you guys left him like that. You understand? Like, you shouldn't be like as if we've not seen this thing before. They keep telling us different things, and they do the same thing. Come on, Charlie.
Okay, Otunfo, relax. I get your point. The question we asked him about the budget, it was at the tail end of an interview. We had other things to do, but I think I get the principle of what you're saying. So well noted.
Yeah.
We'll be on them. No problem.
Charlie, let someone also talk here.
Okay. All right. 054-257-1061 054-257-1061 054-257-1061 054-257-1061. Let me take this call. Hello. Yes, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Michael from Wimbledon.
Michael, how are you?
I'm fine, Nathan.
All right, please go ahead, Michael.
So do you think that Nigeria form ban the Nigerian girls, they are treating them like this? Bayana or South Africa, they are treating them like this. You see, on the born here, journalists was thinking yanka tactics once and the team needs to or yanka coach me decisions or but that's an creative room. Now, could be a giant girls the performance no more, maybe naturally girls no more you. But then after the channel, argument no could say, girls no, yamu musica. Again, what is good for the goose is always good for the gander. I don't know, yes, I think to say, a brana baby. Black Stars, Bassa, they cry background, but it drew up a pep and no complaints. But a man, Diana, was a Muniano. Now for the Muyana Bassa. I don't really get it. Men Chelsea me sometimes me dream one men I then Black Stars a project be a mobile, but they don't say the honor to say me And so blasters, you defending actually once I don't buy new. Don't buy any. You are qualified. And as an honor, the media office and the kind say it is a general consensus. We are so passing Nigeria for numbers asking for 10 hours.
Michael, as for the team media officer, forgive her. She's in a very difficult position, so it's not.
No, but then baby on Sergio Ramos stand a dose to do.
No, it's not. You see, it's not a Sergio Ramos thing. I just put yourself in her shoes. There are certain things I can't say, but I think I understand what you're saying. I say this because I know the position she's in.
No, okay, Smith, I'm you. But then so we can't be member can also say we shouldn't talk about it. No, who can watch and how they can watch them. But the man can say I said no, that be a very a very sensitive issue. Not a very sensitive issue. Men can say you want about 10 hours. Players never break.
No, that one is true.
And then Nema Koso Tenesu. And I'm okay, one bed and Nema Koso, one after two. Coco go for two, Zoe the two, Ruby the two.
Sir, no problem. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. Thank you so much. 0542571061. 0542571061. Let me take this call. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from, please?
My name is Niakrashi, aka Asabiache One.
All right, please go ahead.
From Dansoma Gigi.
Okay, please go ahead.
Later. Me a problem. You remote pay your problem. No, me how me sound there. You can problem member.
Okay. What is the problem?
You see, we are in Ghana here. Any time the Blasters are going to play ball, we will see this our Abigail to sue Nanaba Namoa, Fire Lady. They will be there. They will be doing shows and chasing Blasters players. When it's time for the Blasters, they are going to sleep.
Hold on. Ray, hey, hold on. I beg you. Relax. No, you see, Ray, it is important that we relax. Then let us set. You see, because I always say that by the time the dust settles, if you don't defend your colleague or you don't put things right, some silly person will do something. Chairman, Abigail is my colleague. Never ever has any women's football issue come up and she has kept quiet.
I'm on the line.
Yes, and I'm saying that never ever has it happened. Abigail has been we've been at Sporty for 6, almost 7 months. I've known Abigail in this space for years. So as for that claim there, relax. Hold on.
What have they done?
I'm saying that as for that claim, you can mention other people's names, but Abigail, I will stand for and say that is not the case with Abigail.
I'm listening to the program every day. It's only they come and do WAFCON meaning. That's all what they've been doing. The way they've been chanting for the Blasters and
Chairman, I'm saying how long have you known?
Relax. How long women's caucus?
Relax. How long? We see. I'm talking about Abigail only. How long have you known her? How long have you known her?
Abigail. I've known Abigail.
For how long?
It is not about only Abigail. Oh, I know.
You see, Chairman, you see, I'm staying on this because she's my colleague. I will not listen. Listen, I beg you. You mentioned Abigail's name. Abigail is my colleague.
Not only a name I mentioned.
Chairman, I'm saying that she works with me. I can speak for. Do you understand?
Yes.
Ray, his point is that all these women keep quiet when it comes to women's football, and they are only excited about Black Stars, which is a general untruth. It is not true. Charlie, you know what?
We are all being.
Charlie, guys, give me another caller. 0542571061. As for, you see, there are certain things, Ray, we should not allow. Nobody should ever call a radio station, denigrate your colleague, and you allow him to continue. No. Because if you allow it, tomorrow it will be you that they will put on the fire. Me, I've seen it before. I've experienced it at my former place. A panelist came on radio, came to insult the entire sports desk, and the person hosting the show sat down and watched. That I will not allow. Let's take another caller. 054-257-1061. Hello?
Nathan, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Charlie, cool down.
No. I'm only saying that let us learn to support our colleagues. The person I've worked with for almost 7, then you call and say that when it's Black Queens, they keep quiet. Yesterday, when Abigail was here fighting for the Black Queens, the person didn't listen.
These are the people, when somebody talks bad about their friend, they won't defend them. So, don't worry. Even if the thing is not true, they will say it's quiet for them to rubbish them. So, yeah, we understand. Calm down. It's too early for you
anyway,
to be
I'm okay. You please go ahead.
In this country, sometimes the youth ask ourselves that, is this leaders that they hold that degree and masters and that big names? Because sometimes I wonder if they know what to do, but they don't want to do, or they just don't know. See, this Black Queens issue, it's been there since.
Oh yeah, that's what I want.
It's not today. Can they do the same thing to this Black Star team? So sometimes it baffles me that I think they know, but they are just ignorant about it. That's all. Now, like, what do you want? What do you expect? So could you know park and so there she should play her heart out. Come on now, it doesn't work. You understand? So they shouldn't do that to the Black Queens. Please, they are the same level on the Black Stars in terms of the national ranks teams, right?
Yes.
So the same treatment you give the Black Stars, give the same treatment. If not the same crowd, at least 50% of the attention you give the Black Stars, give it to the Black Queens. That's all.
Yeah.
Oh,
thank you.
Charlie.
Thank you so much for your call. 054-257-1061. 054-257-1061. This is the Sporty Breakfast. Give me a call. Raymond's sermon was on the finance ministry and the fact that they haven't released money to the Black Queens. The Black Queens are playing an AFCON. Why are we doing that to them? Let me take this call. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is Jordan from A Life.
All right, please go ahead.
Charlie. Nathan, cool down. Give the guy. You see, sometimes I don't know. Some people just come on, criticize. They don't want to listen to the other side. This is a bigger thing that what apart from her being on radio, does he know what she does behind after radio? Does he know what she does after radio? Or you want her to go and stand in front of the finance minister's office and be asking for money for the Black Queens?
Anyway, and
sometimes people anyways, you see, Nathan, seriously, I don't understand how these politicians operate. Seriously, I do not understand it. Subsequent governments have come, and the way they do their things is almost the same. It looks the same. It's like the two of them. You know, if I say the two of them, you understand.
I know.
Like, the two of them, I don't know, like they go and like wherever they learn from, wherever they get their knowledge from, is just to play the system by talking a lot. And then when it is time for them to really get their hands dirty and do the work, they show the same lifestyle. I don't know. I don't know why that problem still exists. I mean, come on. How much will it take to pay these girls? How much will it take to pay the under 20s? How much does it take? Okay? That's money.
And to think that the under 20 tournament has already been played.
Yeah, look at it. Look at this. Let's look at this. This money, times 10 of it, will be misappropriated in something, someday. And then to come on radio, people will be talking. This money will be misappropriated. And it's not even misappropriated by a lot of people. One person will misappropriate this money. And there will be a lot of issues on it. I mean, Charlie, why? You see, like Raymond is saying, this is the time this is the time for him to put his feet down and admonish his people. Because whatever made you unpopular when you were voted out of power has actually come out again, and then it is rolling out, and we are watching it. And see, it starts small like this, and it becomes big. I don't know, Charlie. Maybe in I'm afraid about you, PPP. There's a time about me, they don't do anything. And Nathan, last thing. Charlie, you were Raymond, I heard him saying this morning that in 2005 he was still using golf.
Hey, 2004, he said he was driving his golf. His golf too.
When we call him, Charlie, you have to give him what he said. 2004, golf too. Hey, Charlie, it's a big one.
All right. Let's take a few more calls and then we move on. There are other things to discuss. 054-257-1061. 054-257-1061. Hello.
Yeah, Nathan, good morning.
Hello. Please lower your radio. I beg you, lower the radio.
Yes, I just did that. Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. I just want to ask you one question, and that's all. That's my contribution. Nathan, in terms of Ghana sports, what can we do right? It's like everything we do in terms of sports, we can't get anything right at all. Is it that we don't learn, we don't see what the international state people are doing, we don't know what we are doing, or is it greed? Some people are just self-centered, like they don't care. Like Nathan, just tell me, what can we do right in terms of our sport?
But you just answered the question. What we are doing right is not doing things right.
I just don't understand, Nathan. Good morning.
All right, good morning. All right, we'll take a few more calls and then we proceed. 054-257-1061. 054-257-1061. This is the Sporty Breakfast. Hello?
Yeah, good morning, Nathan.
Good. How are you? I knew you would call. I knew it. Your friends are at it again.
I'm not even. I'm come to ask you some questions. I want to be a pro in tennis. How do I get there?
You want to do what?
A pro in tennis.
A pro in tennis. Hey.
Yeah.
Is that not a little too late? Anyway, I'm sure you can. I don't know. Okay, we'll have to maybe speak to the Ghana Tennis Federation to see what they can do to help you.
I want to be international. You know, Ghana here.
Yeah, but you have to start from here. Or you want to start from there?
What's the procedure? Because I don't know.
Okay, I think this is it. I think the most important thing is that at the end of the process, you have to get a ranking. You understand? So if you get a ranking in Ghana, then you can get a global ranking, and then you have to be playing in a lot of the competitions. So the better you do, your ranking will keep going up and up and up and up. Don't worry, I know it's a long journey, but if you are determined, you make it. We'll interview you.
Do you have any tennis league or something like any tennis?
No. No, what I know is some people have small clubs and things. I think that.
This one, unless I go outside.
Raymond is asking how old you are. Then we'll know.
Raymond, why?
Oh no, how old are you? Oh no, I want to know.
So we can plot the journey. For you. Let's say 20 years, 15 years, 10 years. If we know, we can help. Hey. Then we'll take you to the Accra Tennis Club. You go and play weekends.
When you finish, you drink beer.
When you finish, you drink beer.
My people are getting me annoyed. So I won't go through. I won't do tennis.
No problem. You will discuss it later on. All right. Thank you so much. As for Emmanuel, when these things happen, he calls and says, "You see, I told you." The other day, he even called to tell us that, why do we even discuss Ghanaian football in the first place? We should only discuss. You see, anyway, you let me take this last caller and then we wrap up. Hello.
Hello, Nathan. Good morning.
Yes, Joshua. Yes, please. Yes, Joshua, please go ahead.
I want to say that I don't think the government will intentionally stifle the Black Queens of France.
Okay.
But
So what seems to be the problem? What do you think is the problem?
I don't know. But I think they can help themselves by coming out and speaking and letting us know how things really are.
Okay.
But this government, and I'm not an NGT person too, but I don't think they will intentionally do that.
Okay.
And on Abigail's how vocal she like the comment the other guy made. I don't think he meant to maybe denigrate her. I think he meant she could be more vocal. But anyway, I've known her for quite some time. I've followed sports from TV
for me,
and all that. I know.
Yes, what I don't stand for is untruth, and when people are not honest. You understand? Okay. You can't call a radio station and then come and say all kinds of things. And when he was still insisting that is not true. In any case, the lady is my colleague. I will not hang my colleague on radio. I will not do that. So I will defend that person. That's what good people do. All right. Thank you so much. 7:59. Ray, you wanted to make a point.
Yeah. So Nathan,
hold on. Just we announced that we are closing the phone lines for now. We'll open it a little later.
Do you know our group opponents, South Africa?
Yes.
There was a story last week.
Mm-hmm. I heard they have one or two issues, but not with money, though.
With
money problem.
Yes. Crisis looming as Bayana stage boycott days before WAFCON title defense. So they are the defending champions. So there's the story. South African women's national team, Bayana, have staged a boycott protesting their unpaid dues just days before WAFCON tournament. You see? Mm-hmm. Now, the team is already in Morocco for the biennial tournament, which starts, they continue with all that. However, financial challenges have already hit the camp, even before the competition kicks off in a week's time. So, WAFCON defending champions Bayern have staged a stay-in and are refusing to train, citing unpaid dues from South Africa Football Federation, SAFA. So, the team boycotted their second training session on Friday after lodging complaints with SAFA. So this time, the South Africans are accusing SAFA of not paying them.
So that is the South African Football Association.
Danny Jordan and his people. In our case, it is now the FA that is pre-financing everything that is happening so far. Awaiting government to release funds for them to be taken care of.
So in our case, the FA is using its money to do all of this.
As we speak.
So that when the government pays, so the government will pay them back.
That is what it seems.
Okay.
But even the FA, they don't have all the money in the world. So at this point, they need help.
Okay, Ray, let me ask you, what do you think should be the ideal situation?
Nathan, government must find a way or find a sustainable stream of financing sports in this country.
Okay.
A sustainable money stream or money pool to help sustain the needs of all federations in this country.
Okay.
If there's a budget of 65 million Ghana cedis going to the sports ministry, 24 million has to go into compensation, the rest will go into goods and services and all. We all know that even the budget alone for the Black Stars to go and play 1, 2, 3 matches can swallow a huge chunk of that money. So obviously, other federations would be shortchanged. Meaning that the budgetary allocation itself is not enough. What it has to be spent on, it would not be able to satisfy every need. So there must be a plan B. How else can we finance sports in this country? That's a discussion the government must be interested in figuring out. I cannot be doing that thinking for anybody. You cannot do that thinking for anybody. But since we have elected them into office, they must find a way to solve that problem so that when budgets are brought to the sports ministry, forward transfer to the finance ministry, after the back and forth and all, whatever sums are approved, there's enough money in the pool to take care of it. Back in the day, we were told Black Stars budgets are taken care of from the consolidated fund. Clearly, it has proven beyond reasonable doubt that it is not sustainable if all federations have to go and tap from there. So, there must be a long-lasting solution to finding how to make sure there's always money available for some of these things. And these tournaments, Nathan, it is not as if they just pop up. There's a calendar. The entire year, there's a calendar. Ghana Athletics, they have a calendar. Ghana Boxing Authority, Ghana Amateur Boxing, they have a calendar. Sports, football, there's a calendar. All these needs are there.
Yep.
We know right from the start. So when we are budgeting, we know that X amount has to go into this space. But Nathan, we don't. The sports ministry clearly does not have enough money to be able to take care of all the sporting federations and all our national teams. That is the challenge. So there's a shortfall. There's a shortfall that government has to figure out how to bridge. Until then, how they are able to finance the Black Stars, how they are able to make resources available through thick and thin, practically working over dead bodies to make sure there's money for the Black Stars to avoid trouble. They should do same for all other national teams and all other federations. They equally deserve respect and they equally deserve the same level of attention.
Thank you. This is still the Sporty Breakfast. It's 4 minutes after 8. Let's take a spot of music just to calm things down. When we are done, we'll talk a bit about the Club World Cup. The round of 16 was played a few days ago. It all came together. But on the side of the club, on the side, away from the pitch, there are all kinds of interesting conversations. Some people are unhappy with how the tournament is being run. Jurgen Klopp seems to think it's a very bad idea. Others are also saying a few things. We'll talk a bit about that in a bit. This is still the Sporty Breakfast. It's 4 minutes after 8. 054-257-1061. 054-257-1061. Send me a thought, send me a comment, send me a message. I'd love to hear from you, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on what we've discussed this morning. 054-257-1061. We'll take a spot of music in a bit there, but you can keep your messages coming in. And a few announcements before we proceed. If you are not that yet, an old student of Presec, then on the 4th of July, which is tomorrow, something really interesting will be happening between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. It's the annual Presec Old Students Reunion Fun Games, and it's happening on the 4th of July 2025 at the Odadi Alumni and Mentorship Center from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Get ready for a thrilling day packed with football, paintball, tag of peace, sumo wrestling, volleyball, five-a-side football, Ludo, Owari cards, and more. So go and bond and compete and celebrate the blue magic that unites all the Odadiers. Don't miss the fun, the food, and the fellowship. Save the date. Tag your mates online. Come camera ready. Odadier for life.
To Sporty 106.1 FM in Accra, 91.3 FM in Kumasi, and 102.5 FM in Takoradi. Sporty, the voice of sport.
That's how we do. Mike Stoppers, Forex 4, Collabo, Castro, alongside me, myself, and I, the big dog, JQ, Kokwe Drew, 2003 beyond. Can't touch that.
Asia for Yasia for now. Soon, so I'm station on my titan. The one to be a mini Aji Juada, Media Babu, very animal house sweater. Akuro, a young pimples, Minchum, Kakaway, ready to who's at the pete. Why do you that chance? Nipper say, Yam Wintia, Kakadu, every day. And Kacha, yes, we start attaché. Fast Rasran and Sabu Sumia Fiafe. When I'm any Kusa Kusa, Yasibasi, what's your media, what's your Winyame, Yen to me company, or what? Diabolo for God's sake, my trouble. Can I mean, I want to Tiambo?
Club World Cup.
Yes,
But
yes.
let me tease listeners what we'll be bringing tomorrow. Tomorrow is a holiday.
Hey, tomorrow holiday, you want to bring fire?
Tomorrow. Oh no, we'll just tell them what is happening. Developing story. So you remember Mr. Nikwe had a press conference on Monday,
I remember that.
and in that press conference, he made this quote.
Yes.
When I was in office, you, Peter Zuenes, signed a check of 20,000 Ghana cedis without my notice. I could have arrested you at the time,
As what?
but I forgave you.
No, I'm just curious. So at that time, what was Nikwe standing?
So I think Nikwe became president as Zuenes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Zuenes has been accused by Nikwe of writing a check of 20,000 Ghana cedis at the time
At which
when
time?
he was not president.
When Mr. Zuenis was not
not
president. I see.
Now, Mr. Zuenes, Mr. Nikwe has made an allegation, and he says that he could have arrested Mr. Zuenes, but he decided to forgive him. Now, Mr. Zuenes says he will not allow this matter to slip. So, Mr. Zuenes has replied. So, tomorrow we'll bring you Mr. Zuenes' response, and Mr. Zuenes is trying to he will take legal action against Mr. Nikwe. So, Kote Nikwe can lie about people and go scot-free, but a lawyer like Peter Zuenes won't let it slip for character assassination.
Kaish.
This is where I end. Tomorrow,
But I never
we'll
small.
tomorrow we'll get into this one. No, tomorrow we'll get into all the matters.
Why do you want to jump into it? This is a court matter.
Oh no, but this, you see, they say Zuenes went to sign check 20,000. They forgiven him.
Yeah.
Mr. Zuenes says that was not the case. So we'll bring his side of the story. So you see, Odi Oteran Patem.
Or the alternate part.
I hear the other side of the story.
Charlie, I was reading.
So
Like a fictional, a fictional novel, and the other day, and it had a few Latin phrases. So you said it, yeah. Latin is a very interesting language. So it's what Odi or something.
yeah, Odi Oteran Patem.
What does it mean?
Hear the other side of the story.
Hear the other side of the story.
So we'll bring Mr. Zuenes' side of the story tomorrow.
Okay.
Yes,
okay,
because there are a lot of matters in there.
Hey.
You see, if so, we'll start it tomorrow. Don't worry. Tomorrow I'll bring you all the scoop. And then Lamte to shots have been fired at him. Stop shaking the table. Stop shaking the table, because the dossier of documents I have on your activities will shock you. You see, this is just a teaser. Tomorrow we'll get into the real issue.
Hey, Ray. Hey, but
Nathan, relax.
Relax.
We'll get into the matters. Tomorrow we'll bring all the scoop, the juice out of the matters.
Hey,
for people to know where the matters sit.
really?
Oh yes.
So tomorrow that's what's happening.
Oh yeah, tomorrow.
So tomorrow holiday you won't let us have peace.
No, see, this one to be peaceful. We'll bring Mr. Zuenes' side of the story. You see what Mr. Zuenes.
Because we've heard Mr. Nikwe.
Yeah, because we've heard him. He's been accused. Really, he has to respond. Did he write a check of 20,000 when he was not GBA president?
Okay, so we'll find out whether it was true or not. Now he says he has the dossier on somebody.
Lamte. He has something called the loop. He has been writing some things and he calls it the loop. So the loop must be careful, because there are a lot of issues that if they release.
So again, this is from the Zuenis side.
Yeah, from the
Zuenis camp.
From the Zuenis camp. And you see, they made it clear. He said, Nathan, let me give you some.
No.
If you want to,
he said tomorrow.
He said, if you want to know about visa racketeering, ask your boss.
Hey. Hey.
Nathan, tomorrow we'll bring them.
Hey.
The GBA matters no finish.
We thought we were ending this.
No.
So tomorrow there's so as far
tomorrow we are going to Zuenes' stories.
Hey.
Samsung kicker.
Oh, Nathan, that thing beat you.
The team was trying to do something. Shall I say that tomorrow?
Tomorrow we are going to the camp of Mr. Zuenes.
Gosh. Hey. So there's no holiday for you. You let's proceed.
Problem no the finish.
Problem there, no the finish. Problem, you know the finish. You see, these are the things I do, and I'll be accused of being an instigator. Meanwhile, I'm not an instigator too. You understand? Hey, I thought this was ending.
No.
It looks like now we've left the boxing ring and we are now we are outside.
I'll fight you as a politician.
Now we are outside.
Yes, now we're outside.
No, but Ray, you know this really doesn't concern us. Do you know that this technically doesn't concern us?
It doesn't concern us.
Because it's not like hardcore sport. Now we are getting into the realms of accusations and counter accusations.
But it's coming from our people.
So somehow
It's coming from our people, so we have to address the matters. No, but I think we should. See, it would be nice to have Nico and Suenes in the studio.
Where?
1-on-1.
You get referee.
Do you have a referee?
No, so
I think this is what I think.
So Moses Farm winning.
No, this is what I
Peter
think.
Zuenes,
Relax. This is what I think.
Nico.
This is what I
all
think.
in one studio.
No, this is what I think. This is what I think. I think that the best way to settle this issue is to match them to the Emporium.
Voice of sports.
Triple threat.
That's why I said triple threat. It's true, child. If you talk that thing, this is a proper triple threat, right? Triple threat. Peter Zuenes versus Kote Nikwe versus Moses Fuamweni. Killer.
Let's go.
Yeah.
12 rounds.
No, but you see, that would be unfair. It would be unfair to Mr. Nikwe. Let's balance it out.
Okay.
So tag team. He can bring Mohammed Amin Lamdi. Tag team.
And then Mr. Zuenes and Moses from on another side.
Now you have to get a competent referee to handle it. I was about to mention some referees, but I'll mention that referee some way. Hey. You don't. No way. I'll not allow you.
I'm just saying.
No.
Be the referee.
No.
Current DB.
No.
You will referee.
No. What? No.
As an experienced referee.
We get it. I'm just saying that I said I but you are mentioning something. I don't like those things.
Referee.
So you're suggesting that Mr. Barno should handle it?
Handle this bout.
No. No. I don't think so. He's also an interested party somehow. So there were some of the referees handling the what's the name? The Beasts of
Battle of Beasts.
Battle of the Beasts. There were some referees. I thought some of the referees performed well. There were some of the referees. There was a particular guy, this slim, tall, lanky referee. He was handling some of the bouts. I thought he handled them really well. The bout involving the Philadelphia man.
Okay. But I like the referee who handled the Pakualote bout.
Okay.
Charlie had some small drama and things. Charlie, he can stop the bout and go and tell you the fact. Go back. Charlie, hey.
Yeah, Charlie. I am the one who's giving us the triple threat. There be killer idea, but they go gang up. They will do 2-on-1. Okay, let's talk about the Club World Cup. Enough of the side stories. Listeners, you can also send me your thoughts. I think Calvin Owusu will join us in a bit. I think Michael Asaribedu is on the line. Michael, good morning.
Good morning, Nathan.
How are you doing today?
I'm good.
Wonderful. Raymond doesn't like peace and quiet. He says tomorrow morning he's bringing fire revelations and all of that concerning Mr. Peter Zuenes and the outgone GBA boss. So that's what we are trying to figure out. I'm suggesting to him that the best way to solve this is to put the two gentlemen in a ring. The winner walks away with their reputation intact.
Well, I'm hearing some disturbing news about Jota, though. I don't know.
Okay.
Diogo Jota.
Yes.
I'm reading from various sources that he's passed on together with his brother in an accident.
In an accident?
Exactly.
Hold on. We'll have to check this. We'll have to check this. That is 14 seconds ago. Yeah.
According to Spanish media, Jota and his brother have died in a car accident.
Wow. Whoa.
Wow.
This is
car crash.
Yeah, this is crazy. This is crazy because the portals are reporting it.
Yeah. 2 weeks after his wedding day.
The portals are reporting it. If you check, for example, Marca is here.
Because it happened in Spain. So
yes,
if Marca is reporting, then it's big news.
You know, and this is serious. Wow. Whoa. This is shocking news. This is shocking news coming in from Spain. Now, Marca, they are reporting. Okay, Marca are reporting that. Listeners, sorry, I'm trying to put myself together. Okay, now Marca are reporting that yes, there was a car crash in the Zamora province, and that two gentlemen, Diego Jota and his brother Andre, who's also a footballer, they were involved in a car crash, and the two of them have passed on. Whoa! This is really disturbing news. Really disturbing news. Listeners, we'll keep an eye out on this and keep you updated. But that is the news coming in from Spain, that Liverpool player Diego Jota and his brother have passed on in a car crash. This is crazy. This is man. This is just crazy. Wow. Yeah, and the portals are beginning to relay. So Marca is also carrying the story and all. I don't even know how to proceed. Wow, Michael, this is really tragic. Really tragic.
Yeah, seriously. And you see, nothing prepares you for death. And then this announcement, definitely there will be a lot of things this will affect. A lot of things. His family, he just married 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
He's not even started yet officially as a married man to leave the husband responsibilities and all that. And how the news will be received by his wife. I think it is so bad from that end. For the family to lose two brothers in just an accident.
Yeah,
definitely that is devastating. And then for the club, the footballing world, how they would have to cope without him. Yeah, nobody prepared for this.
Nobody.
So when it hits you, the shock, the reaction, everything that comes out, it is just so sad. So sad.
This is extremely serious. Now, Marcus handle on X, they have published this, and you are right. That it did happen in Spain, in the Zamora province, and so it's so shocking. The news is beginning to catch fire.
Yeah, Sporty TV has been. Yes.
Sporty TV announced
Sporty TV. He's announced it with a black and white picture of Jota's image, saying the 28-year-old Liverpool and Portugal forward has tragically died in a car accident near Zamora, Spain.
Yes.
Alongside his brother Andre. Our thoughts are with his family, friends, teammates, and the entire football community. So
this is
and about just 5 days ago he officially blessed his wedding, his marriage a few days ago, and I don't know, I'll get Fly the picture so that he'll just let us see Jota with his family after the blessing, the wife and then the kids. Yes, I've sent it to Fly, so I'm sure in a matter of seconds here he'll put it on the stream. So if you are listening to us, you can join us via our X stream or on our Facebook stream. You can listen to us on our X Spaces, and then on a Facebook stream you can watch Jota, the family, and then the pictures that accompany. So very, very disappointing to have this news. And you see, Liverpool players were just having some very good times, and I about 2 days ago I was reading, 3 days ago I was like, oh come on, yes, Curtis Jones also being the next to take the step, the likes of Virgil van Dijk, Mohamed Salah having the holidays, Diogo Jota after the Nations League's triumph. I was just thinking about resting, having family things sorted out, and then it's quite sad.
This is sad. This is
sad. It's disturbing news.
It's very disturbing news. You don't plan for this at all. right? And I can imagine the shock amongst Liverpool, his family, teammates, friends. And this is just crazy because even as a club, Liverpool, they haven't even planned for this. So what do you do?
Definitely.
You know what? The family, how they? Oh Lord!
Just 4 days ago. Just 4 days ago, he blessed the marriage. 4 days. It's not too far. 4 days ago. You know, it's an unimaginable loss, and for all his family, friends, it's crazy. You know, this is crazy, and football, the entire football community is in mourning. We've just lost, you know, a player. He's not one of the players you say he's controversial. He has issues. He's adored. I love him for his work ethics. You know, he comes into games, you know, and he's like, come on, this seems to be the last game of his life, and he gives in everything. You know, a very special human being, and unfortunately, well, that is it. Absolutely heartbreaking. It's quite sad. It's quite sad. It's quite sad.
Really heartbreaking news. Really heartbreaking news. Oh. This is really sad. This is really sad. Anyway, listeners, will be giving you more updates as and when they come in. We were scheduled to talk about the Club World Cup. So I don't even know I don't know how to proceed. Whether we should still push on and talk about the Club World Cup. I don't know. My production team.
We still have to do that. Okay. Hopefully, if we get any,
we'll get updates. Anyway, this is so sad. Listeners will be giving you more updates. But the Club World Cup round of 16 ended a few days ago. And we do know that the quarterfinal games are set up. But we'll talk about the quarterfinals tomorrow. But it's the side conversations that have interested me. All this talk about, you know, Club World Cup being a bad competition and all. Now, Jurgen Klopp said this a few days ago, and I'll take comments on from the guys on and what they make. He says, quote, "The Club World Cup is the worst idea ever implemented in football. People who have never had anything to do with day-to-day business are coming up with ideas. Perhaps not everyone has recognized the real problem yet, that next season players will suffer injuries they've never had before. If not this season, then it will happen at the World Cup or afterward." So those were the thoughts of Jurgen Klopp. Several people have reacted to this. Karl-Heinz Rummenigge, former Bayern Munich big man, former Bayern Munich player, he says that, quote, "I get why they are frustrated, but the players and their agents have played a part in this. By constantly demanding higher wages, they've pushed clubs to chase bigger revenues. And where does that money come from? More matches." So he has accused players of causing this problem. And Hristo Stoichkov, who is ex-Bulgaria, ex-Barcelona player, has also jumped into it. Okay, he says Jurgen Klopp should show more respect to the competition. But Stoichkov said, "I didn't expect this from Jurgen. I have a lot of respect for him. Maybe he feels sickened by Salzburg being knocked out of the competition because he's a director of Red Bull. When Liverpool played in the Club World Cup, nobody complained. When they received money, nobody complained. I think we need to have more respect in these tournaments. I have already participated in it when there were only a few games, but I think Gianni Infantino and FIFA have done something different. We have brought together many cultures, new systems, new tactics, and many different teams that didn't know each other before are participating in a tournament like this." So those are the comments. Michael, I give it the first bite. Just your thoughts on all the things that have been said. Klopp seems to disagree. Rafinha also disagrees, but Rummenigge and Stoichkov believe that, well, if it's here, it's here. Better play and get along with it.
Well, I think for context, we would have to understand that there are various stakeholders in the game of football, and depending on what has happened, the respective stakeholders will react according to how it affects them, whether positively or negatively. And so this is much more like a stakeholder fight And we'll need to situate that into a proper context before we can have a very good discussion on this one. So in this case, Rafinha is speaking as a player. He is reacting as to how players are being made to overburden themselves. They are being made to overwork, and they are being overloaded as regards too many matches within a calendar year. And this is cumulative. These comments stem from not just the fact that the Club World Cup is an isolated competition, it's a continuation of a series of matches. In the case of Klopp, he also made similar sentiments in relation to how players are being overburdened, where he went on to make that unfortunate comparison with NBA players earning more than footballers and even getting like a 4-month period of rest, and footballers have not had that, where he had to mention that of Virgil van Dijk, that an NBA player can rest for 4 months. Virgil van Dijk has not had that for like 4 years or so. I stand to be corrected. So these are people who are expressing concerns about the welfare of players, the well-being of players, and how we are overburdening them. The reaction coming from Hristo Stoichkov as a former player who is also, quote-unquote, a FIFA ambassador, is to defend FIFA as an organizer and why we need competitions like this to keep the game going on, to keep the game thriving. The reaction of Karl-Heinz Rummenigge, he is a football director or administrator. He is responsible for the business side of the game, because football clubs are not just association clubs that have been formed to just play football for entertainment purposes. Now, they are business-oriented as well. And as a business, they need to run, make revenue, make profit so that they can keep running. So we will need to situate all these into proper context so that we can get the understanding. There are parts where I agree with the argument made by Klopp and then Rafinha. There are parts where I strongly disagree. For instance, let me start with what I disagree with Klopp's statement. The tie-in with the NBA player bet does not work for me, because there are two different sports in different jurisdictions. Those who run NBA are different from those who run football. If you have to put everything down and properly scrutinize, then it comes to bear that even the NBA player that Klopp thinks is enjoying much rest is not exactly as the case. Because in the regular NBA season, they are playing over 80 games. In the space of like a week, an NBA team can play like 5 matches or 4 matches minimum. Yep. Then they can play beyond 2 hours, although on the clock, it is a 4-quarter journey made up of 12 minutes each.
They say it's 48 minutes, but it's a lot longer than 48 minutes.
It goes beyond 2 hours at times. So clearly, Klopp, I don't know. I don't want to be very harsh and say he does not know the NBA. But I think he does not really understand the intricacies of the NBA. And that is where the problem stems from, and why I think he shouldn't have made a football-basketball comparison, especially if it's not so much in tune with what happens in that sport. The various injuries NBA players are subjected to, and it's not just them playing in the space of 5 days. They travel too. The journey, maybe I will be in LA, the next time I'm in Detroit, they journey across board. So the jet lag issues have not even come on board. So if they are being given a considerable period of rest, it is tied to the kind of sport they are engaged in, like boxers. Boxers will fight like 3 times a year. But if you think they are resting during the period that they are not in the ring, then you'll be kidding yourself. They go through stressful periods of hard training in the gym, doing their respective workouts. They will be climbing, they will be doing the mountain hikes and all the others. So what is deemed as rest perhaps might not actually be rest. It is entirely different. So I think Klopp just did a wrong comparison, and then he summed everything together, and I think his statement sounded more sentimental than factual. And that is how come I don't agree with most of the things that he said, especially to call this the worst football idea as regards issues of player health and welfare. That is basically wrong. Again, this is the Club World Cup. It is expanded. Yep, I agree. 32 clubs participated in this. But if Klopp is making this argument, then he's limiting his scope to just the European football calendar. Okay, so players played for this period because as it stands, clubs who came from Brazil, they had just played 11 matches in their season. So this competition came at a point in time where they had just started their season. So will you complain about fatigue? Again, clubs from Asia, the Saudi Arabian League has ended. The UAE League, where a line hails from, has ended. There is no league currently ongoing in South Korea. Japan have just started. So if you scrutinize, Klopp's argument is limited to just the European football clubs. And even with them, they are a microcosm of various national leagues because in the Premier League, there are 20 clubs. 2 out of 20 represented. The same applies to the La Liga. So if Klopp is saying that there will be much more injuries in European football because of the Club World Cup, and as such, it is the worst football idea, then I think I beg to differ. And my point is this. Just 2 Premier League clubs are participating. Do you dwell on this to just create the scenario that it means there will be more player injuries in the Premier League because of the Club World Cup? 2 Portuguese clubs. Would you want to make a hasty conclusion and then predict that there will be more injuries in the Portuguese league because there is a Club World Cup and the players are playing far too many matches? Of the players in the Premier League, English Premier League, if Manchester City presented a squad list of, let's say, 30 players or even 35 players, Chelsea did the same. We are looking at 70 players. Let's say if all the Premier League clubs have a squad list of 35 players, 35 times 18, and then 35 times 2. If you do that then, and then you do your fraction, clearly you will know that Klopp is speaking to a limited number of players as per the overall. And you don't use this to just predict that then you are anticipating more injuries occurring in the sport. And it runs true. So in as much as some European clubs are competing, a lot of the European clubs have their players on holidays. In the Serie A, it was just Inter Milan and Juve. Inter have even been booted out of a competition. They could still go on and give their players 1 month rest and return for their pre-season. The other Serie A clubs have had their players on break since. So I don't really get where Klopp's argument is coming from. I think that he was just reacting to a series of competitions that have been played in recent times. And again, these competitions were merely by the fact that there were countries or clubs that qualified. And so these clubs had in mind, or these countries had in mind, let me just limit it to clubs, because even with a national team, there is no limit as regards players that you can use. You can call from a large pool of players. With a club, it is just about players that you've signed and registered. But Chelsea knew they will be competing in the Club World Cup. Manchester City knew they'll be competing in the Club World Cup. So you make arrangement towards that. And what arrangements do you make? You build your squad to be healthy enough and sizable enough so that squad rotation and load management can be planned. And this is where the managers and the coaches come in. You are not just a coach, you are to manage situations. So if I'm Pep Guardiola, I know I will be playing at the Club World Cup. And so I make a certain load shedding plan so that I don't overburden players for a considerable period. And then whenever I can call on them, I can use them. This is how come these big clubs make huge sums of money just to make sure they prepare their teams in various ways. And then it is not just about rest that ensures recovery. Today, due to money and science, there are a lot of ways to recover players quickly or quicker or faster than the normal way that you go about it. There are oxygen masks, oxygen chambers, a lot of mechanisms to recover players quickly. And it's all about money. So if you are making more money and then you can't innovate and then you can't tap into science to find ways where you can reduce the aspect of fatigue in players due to load management issues and all the others, and you will still come and then complain because the Club World Cup is going on and you think it's the worst football idea. I strongly disagree, because for mass participation's sake, a lot of clubs will earn monies they will not normally have earned in the football calendar year. For instance, Auckland City, the last time you read, like their annual revenue that they're able to generate, they did not even beat $500,000.
Yes, that's true.
The same applies to these African clubs. I don't think Al Ahly will operate for a full year and make a profit of around $9 million. So the Club World Cup offers an avenue for these clubs to make more money and invest into football development. Whatever money that Auckland City got from this competition, they invest back into the New Zealand football ecosystem just to help football development and growth. If they are setting up infrastructure to help football development in the country, if they are paying players, it is just to help the footballers as regards that aspect of their lifestyle. So socio-economically, the Club World Cup will impact on Norway's football ecosystem. The same applies to every other club that has played here. Chelsea have earned close to $60 million, and they've earned this money in less than a month. Whether we like it or not, it will play a part in improving how the club is run. The same applies to Man City, Real Madrid. So I think Klopp limited his argument to just an aspect of the game. And football is broader than that. It is bigger than that. And I think he sounded more sentimental than factual. This will be my opening comments to this.
I see. Interesting thoughts. Kelvin, do you have any thoughts on this?
Well, I asked myself.
Klopp on one side, Stoichkov, Klopp and Rafinha on one side, Stoichkov and Rummenigge. Rummenigge seems to think that, I think Rummenigge is a bit more accommodating of Klopp's comments, and he says that it's all down to the players. They say they want more money. Clubs need to find more money for them. This is how they'll make more money.
It's not even about that. If this was being played in Europe, they wouldn't have complained.
Oh, okay. So
they wouldn't have complained. I think it's about the Americans issue. You know, if you know, it's about the tournament itself. Jurgen Klopp went to play, didn't he? After winning the Champions League with Liverpool.
Yeah.
Did he complain at that time?
But he argued that they only played 2 matches.
It doesn't matter. Now it's been expanded. when the Champions League when the Champions League was being played, and then before it got expanded, before the away goal rule and all others were taken away, and then he was beating teams anyhow. Did he complain? Once there is a change, there is a variation that goes against, or you are against it, you decide to come and spell all these things. They should spare us. This is something they all agreed. If you think that it was too much, if he thinks it was too much, he could have told UEFA that, we understand you want a balanced representation, but I don't think that RB Leipzig will be ready for the it's Salzburg.
RB Salzburg.
Salzburg will be ready for this because our players need to rest. Why didn't he tell them? Isn't he the director of football or what? The head. Why didn't he tell them that, no, UEFA, maybe you can send another club because we are not ready yet. We don't want to, or we cannot accept it. But they went on to play. And now he's saying all kinds of things. Are they not playing for the money? Are they not giving their players experience, new variations? If you think this is too much for you, that is why you can put in any player you want. You could have sent your academy. Nobody cares. I think that there are times that some of these things, these coaches, these players, talk a lot more about these things. But they shouldn't forget that if it wasn't the Club World Cup that has been expanded and the World Cup was upcoming, they'll play. Did he say anything about the European Championship being too much for the players in a season, after a season? The players had to just quickly get ready for the European Championship, didn't they? The Euros. They went to play it. We didn't hear any of these comments. So why now? I think it's virtually maybe coming from a bad place, and they should just think about it. No, Rafinha complained about it. If he was supposed to play Copa America, would he have said this? No, sincerely, if he was supposed to play Copa America, would he have said this? He wouldn't. He would have gone straight to Brazil, go there, play. So why the complaints now? Or is it because Barcelona did not get in there? You see, it's virtually coming from bad places. emotional turns, I think. And I think club should just reconsider, go back and then come again. Maybe he used the wrong words to let us catch what he wanted to say. But if this is what he wants to say, then I think he's failed.
But are we all saying that? Are we okay? Do we agree that this game or the Club World Cup at this time, an extra 6 matches, if you like? Is there an understanding that maybe it could hamper some of the teams playing?
Which team?
Some of the teams.
These players, footballers love football to the point that you leave them today, they'll play in a number of community football games. In the next couple of weeks, you yourself, you won't get it.
But they will say that those ones, they are not high intensity. It's
a lie. It's a lie.
Oh,
footballers. Football knows no play. You ask yourself, even in our old places, when we met and we played at Dansom and Asrotef, you know how intense it was. To the point that CEOs, head of departments come on to just because they want the pride at stake. That is football. There is nothing like even when you are playing a video game, the kind of aggression, competition is competition.
This has come at the end of the season. We've played 38, 40, 45, 50 matches. You have to rest. You are playing Club World Cup. When will you rest? So you start the next
6 matches. 6 matches. The next season is starting where?
In August.
We are in July. When is the Club World Cup ending?
13th.
And how many weeks more?
It will be 2 weeks to the end of July.
And then August. When is the league starting?
I'll check for you.
It's going to start maybe after 2 weeks in August.
Yeah.
So you get only 4 weeks off. You have to.
But how many weeks? If they were playing Copa America, if they were playing Euros
or they play World Cup,
would they have said anything like that?
I guess maybe the reputation of the World Cup saves it from this debate because it is the World Cup.
But the Club World Cup is also one of the prestigious glories that clubs want.
The new one.
It's what new because it's been revamped and they are playing more matches.
Yeah.
Come on, they should forget it. Why were they also playing 2 matches for that chunk of money?
Okay,
now that you are being given huge sums of money, you want to complain. Meanwhile, players and coaches, ask yourself, if Jurgen Klopp is asked that, Klopp, go and play this charity match free of charge, this off-season Club World Cup tournament, would he say he's not going to take his wages for that? Okay. You are working a full year, you want to go and stay home 2 months and take salary free of charge, and you won't work. Come and play football, you are complaining. You should let us think.
Ray, do you have something to say?
I think that
when you finish, I'll give an update on the Diogo Jota episode. Some details are beginning to emerge.
Right. So initially, I agreed with those who said it was extra games for players to play. It was too much for players in the course of the season after having to deal with as many as 40 games plus. You have to continue training and possibly play an extra 6. It was too much for the players. Then the argument was made that, well, these are players who come into contract negotiations with all sorts of demands, demanding all sorts of salaries. So, if clubs have to be able to take care of some of these financial demands, these are some of the tournaments or these are some of the competitions they would play in if the opportunity comes and try to rake in some more cash to be able to take care of those huge demands the players demand. So those huge demands they make. So in one breath, you would understand that, come on, clubs are paying 120 million pounds for players with all sorts of add-ons. If there's a competition like this that a club can play in and make some more money, they will gladly take it at the expense of thinking about how many games the player has played. Of course, they have fitness managers and all who know when the player is in green and in red and all. They can manage all of that. So the argument of players playing too many games, players getting tired, doesn't come in for me. Those questioning the tournament itself, I mean, it's just like every other tournament. Tournaments spring up, okay? Tournaments come up, and they become novelties, and they stay. And over a period of time, we always look forward to that. Maybe because this is the first time this is happening, it will take time for clubs to now adjust and adapt and now begin to understand that, next 4 years we are looking forward to a Club World Cup, which is huge with this number of teams. Okay, just like now we've accepted that, well, next year there'll be a World Cup in 3 countries.
Yes.
So everybody's planning towards that. maybe when it gets a bit more popular, some of these comments would not come again. But it's coming from a place where I feel most of the people passing the comments are not participating. they are not participating, or they fell short of going find the competition. Jargon clubs, Red Bull people, and Rafinha, who clearly doesn't have his club Barcelona in there. He would have wished Barca were there to actually cause a few problems. But Nathan. So I think the tournament has come to stay. It's a good tournament. It helps if players can leave their teams and go and play in the World Cup for another 1 month after the season. Why not? Why can't they play in the Club World Cup? If players can leave club football at the end of the season and go and play in the Euros, why not? It's another competition they should play in. So these complaints from Pep Guardiola and the likes, it's a bit difficult to understand. If Pep Guardiola feels that his players are getting injured because they play in extra competition or they play extra games, he should figure out how to make sure he himself manages his players. He should figure out how he can manage them when they are in red and when they are in green. Because Pep Guardiola, we know, is a manager who doesn't give his players rest. Consistently, the same squad. He sucks blood out of the players. And so there are times they will get injured. A lot of his players get burned out at the end of the season. What does he do to them? He should be concerned about that. For now, Paris Saint-Germain, they played in the Champions League. They played a lot of games. They are still playing in this competition. They are still doing well. They are not complaining. Real Madrid are not complaining. So, if you manage your squad well, some of these competitions shouldn't bother you or bother your players. And so, for me, the criticism, I think, unfair. Good competition. Let's continue playing. Let's continue enjoying our football. But for the World Cup, Club World Cup, it would have been a dry last few weeks in terms of sports. But we are getting some drama from the Club World Cup. The media side is also benefiting. Broadcasters are also benefiting. Increasing revenue and all of that. So, you see, the football ecosystem is benefiting from this Club World Cup. Those who are up in arms clearly have their own motives.
Wait, a few weeks ago when I said that, somebody made a statement that some teams would suffer in their season. I think you largely agreed with the idea.
That's what I said. Well, some teams will suffer, yes. But there's something called squad management. But when these players who are going to play, these teams who are going to suffer because of their players may be out or in, when their players are demanding huge salaries, this is the price to pay. When the players come and they are demanding all sorts of add-ons, all sorts of bonuses, why should the club get money to take care of those things? These are the competitions. They have to play.
Exactly. Anyway, guys, so some more info from Spain concerning the really sad and tragic passing of Diogo Jota. So the Guardia Civil, which is like I think the police force, or if you like. So they did say a few things.
Okay.
Now they say that Michael, you're still on, right?
Yeah, but I'm on.
Okay. So you can also hear us. Anyway, so that according to the Guardia Civil, it says, quote, the information we have so far is that the car, which was a Lamborghini, was in a road traffic accident and left the road due to a tire blowout while overtaking. It was in the early hours, and they say 12:30 BST, which in Ghana is 11:30 p.m. in the municipality of Cernadia in the province of Zamora. The car caught fire and the two occupants were killed. Now, when asked to confirm the identities of those involved in the accident, the Guardia Civil said, of course, it was the player Diogo Jota and his brother Andre Silva. So that's the news coming in from Spain.
Sporty FM.
Really, really, really sad and tragic.
There's a painful death.
Really, really, really painful death. Really, really painful.
So they were caught in the car and then it caught fire.
Yes, so they were overtaken. The tire blew out and it took them off the road. I'm sure they must have crashed into something.
And caught fire.
And then the car caught fire and they couldn't come out of the car. But the police could identify, or the authorities identified the body. So yes, the car left the road because of a tire blowout while overtaking. The car caught fire and both gentlemen were caught up in the flame. So that's this is really tragic. Really, really, really tragic. And it's tragic on different levels. And everybody gets affected. The Portuguese national team.
So that because they tried to overtake and
so they were overtaking when the tire blew out.
Hi.
Charlie.
So that means there's going to be a check of the car if this happens.
Sporty FM.
Yeah.
So that means it may be a fault or something.
I don't know, but the tire blew out. The tire went out, so nobody knows.
With cars like that, Charlie, some way, depending on the speed, the speed at which the car was traveling. If a tire blows out, it's something that can happen to anybody driving. You can even be on low speed and still have a tire blowout. Okay, but if you have a tire blowout on top speed, it's crazy. You hit the brakes and the car is all over the place. And then anything can happen after that. So it's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate, but we wish the families well.
We wish them well.
Nathan, there's just saying that the body of the dead is always one into the living.
Yeah, Michael, you were saying something.
So
I said it throws in a lot of inconveniences for various parties involved. His family, his newly wedded wife, and the kids.
Their kids.
And then his club, and then even the national side. His club wouldn't have prepared for this. I think Liverpool would have made their plans about the new season. And if Diego Jota was not sold, if he was sold, definitely is an asset. If he's moved on, it brings in some kind of revenue. If he's staying, he forms part of the footballing plans of a club, and he will help on the pitch. We all know his quality. It is definitely not in denial that whenever he's fit and available, he gives Liverpool some kind of quality up. It's actually a player within the Liverpool foot that, as an opponent or a rival fan, I do respect a lot. You just have to admire his technical brilliance, what he gives on the field of play. So in his absence, it means Liverpool will now need to cater for that because they won't be able to move the asset again. So this is likely going to be written off as a bad debt. The remaining duration on his contract will need to be eventually paid off as compensation to his family and all that. So financially, they are going to lose something. That is not even something that we should focus on because a life has been lost. But I'm only saying this just for us to understand the processes the club will go through. So they will lose money. They will invest money in acquiring another asset, somebody who needs to come on board and then contribute to the squad, just as Jota would have done if he was available. So the inconveniences, it kind of alters Liverpool transfer plans. And then again, national side will not have a player they can count on, a player they can select. And I want to believe that the Portugal national team manager, Roberto Martinez, might have had him in his plans, especially approaching the World Cup. And then also his family. You can't deal with the pain of losing one person, how much more two people in the same family. It is such a devastating blow. How will his immediate family react? How will the extended family react? This is absolutely painful. There is nothing to describe this in the best possible way than a very painful, tragic death. Nothing takes it. I don't even. I'm not.
It's really.
So like I was saying, the body of the dead is a warning to the living. I think players have all the money in the world. They buy all the best cars in the world. They buy all the fast cars, but they should, on the roads, decision making. They should take it easy on the roads. Last time it was Mikel Antonio, remember?
Yeah, he lived to tell the tale.
Tell the tale, and I'm sure players like that should lead the charge for their colleagues to manage speed and all. Nathan, the worst always happens when there's a lot of speed in there.
Well. We'll have to.
So yes, I'm sure it's just like Michael said, two brothers, from two people from the same family, and this guy is just a gentleman who played for Portuguese. That is Andre Silva, the brother for Jota. Mm-hmm. He played for the Portuguese second division club Penafiel. Just 25 years. 25 years. So just 3 years, do I say younger than his brother? Two professional footballers, for them to just die, and it's crazy. It's crazy. I quite disturbing, and you ask yourself, we're just Just a moment ago, this guy was enjoying the European Championship. 5 days ago,
won the Premier
blessing
League,
his marriage. You know, supposed to enjoy with family, holiday with a brother, and this happened. It's crazy. You know,
it's so sad.
Crazy.
So sad.
Eternal rest. We pray for them that the Lord will grant unto them, and then may the perpetual light of His grace shine on them.
Amen. May He rest in peace. Our thoughts go out to the family, friends, teammates, national team, Liverpool. We're all looking forward to seeing him back. It just puts a different feel to the season. It just puts a different complexion to Liverpool season, to the Portuguese national team, and how they even move forward from this. And to the family, this is so sad. This is so sad. Really, really, really sad. Our condolences to Jota and family and everybody and everybody close to them. We don't even know how to cope with this. We'll talk a bit about rugby, but just to find out a bit on the Club World Cup heat, the weather. Others have been complaining about it. Let's hear from Enzo Maresca. He also has a few things to say about the weather in the US.
No, but it's not. Anyway, we know each other from 1 year ago. I always try to avoid excuse. I always try to be honest. It's not about excuse. It's about reality. It's excuse when it's not hot and we say that it's hot. That is excuse. But if hot is hot, and it's difficult to work with this temperature. But we are here. We are trying to do our best, and we're gonna try to win tomorrow game. This is the only thing that we can say and we can do.
All right, so that was Enzo Maresca, Chelsea head coach. Let's hear from Pep Guardiola. He's also been complaining about or been talking about the heat in the US.
Hot is it's obviously, so we cannot change it, right? So it's better to play like the last stadium that we played. That was fantastic, but I think all the teams have to handle it. So it's what it is for the new World Cup, next World Cup. People know it already. But yeah, we have to be ready to suffer. But it's fine. Hopefully we can do a good game and the people can come. Only I can advise to the people, bring a lot of water, hats, towels in the next. So, because I think will be tough.
So that's Pep Guardiola speaking there. Now, ex-footballer Jermaine Ginas also has said a few things concerning the complaints about the heat in the US.
Me out there to go and watch Republic of Ireland take on 4. My dad moved to America when I was young, and he took me out there to go and watch Republic of Ireland take on Italy in the Giant Stadium. I remember being sat there as a kid, and it was unbearably hot. And on top of that, it was the first time I'd ever seen like a drinks break in a proper football match.
Yeah.
So this has been happening for years. I think, inevitably, by the time the World Cup comes along, players are excited, fans are excited. I think hopefully a lot of wrinkles have been ironed out. You can't control the weather. That is just something where it just purely comes down to safety, and that is it.
But surely,
I mean, have you watched football lately, Jim? All these things are happening kind of all the time. Random things that we're seeing with VAR and technology coming in. Football's completely changed. This is not something that is going to be so out of the ordinary for these players. They've played in COVID. They are going through such a weird time.
Winter World Cup in Qatar.
Yeah.
The world changes.
100%, and this is something that all of a sudden then as a coach and as a player you have to bolt onto your mentality. This is something that is a wrinkle that could get chucked in that I need to be prepared for. Because then if I want to win a World Cup, who cares about a weather delay?
All right, so that was Jermaine Ginas, ex-pro footballer, Spurs. Interesting. So Maresca talks about the heat. Pep Guardiola says we'll have to deal with it. That's what it is. Next year there's a World Cup in that same country, so we'll have to deal with it. I think Gina is also on the same tangent. I guess that's the weather.
Yeah, they're complaining about the weather, and I asked myself, when the African nations were moving to Europe or the colder regions to play in the Club World Cup, did you hear any complaints? When South Americans or people, from that harsh, hot weather, move to come and play in these competitions in very cold circumstances, it is just this Club World Cup that has been put in July. Mostly it's in December.
Yeah,
that is winter. If I'm wrong, somebody should tell me.
The weather.
Yes, the weather in December.
In the year it's cold.
But the African nations were playing. African clubs were playing. Weren't today? They were moving to go and play. So where all of a sudden the complaint? Wasn't it a disadvantage to the African or the other representatives who were coming from quite, humid conditions to come and play in the cold weather? But they came to play. So why the complaint? We understand, yes. We understand. And just like Jermaine Ginas was saying, maybe this is, I think he said this happens is it the West Coast or something? But the World Cup is not going to be like that. Fine. We've seen these nations, when it gets to preseason, where do these teams go to?
They go to
very humid areas. Fine, maybe this may be adverse. But it's all about climate change. So they should be speaking about how to make the game better. Even at Wimbledon, the conditions are around 40 in UK. People are complaining. We have friends who are complaining that around 40, 39 degrees Celsius.
Really hot.
Some humid, harsh weather conditions. But for you, because a game of football is being played outside and all that, people have started complaining. When Manchester City were winning, did they complain? That's why I love Xabi Alonso. Even when Real Madrid struggled in their first game, he said, we need to cope with the weather. Because acclimatization is also part of football. If you fail to acclimatize, what happens? You cannot play. Even in England, the weather conditions are not the same across several zones. What you feel at Merseyside, you won't feel, in London, or what you see in Manchester. Very wet conditions. You won't see that probably maybe in somewhere else. So why the complaints and so many talk about weather? And are these not the same players playing? Two fluid breaks, right?
Yeah, 2 cooling breaks
for them. But what are they saying? They should stop this and play the football and let us think.
Michael, do you think that players are complaining too much?
So you see, what if this was a season of European Championship and it was being played in England with the 40 degrees Celsius? Would they tell us they won't play? I think the only problem is about the rain and thunderstorm that halts matches, which I think there needs to be something that has to be done.
Because the Chelsea game was stopped for 2 hours.
I mean, that's exactly. With that, fine. But For the weather, they should stop, worrying us with the weather. You should play and take the money.
Michael, your thoughts. Kelvin seems to disagree with all these complaints. No, do you think that?
Sporty FM.
I think on the issue of weather, in a part, FIFA could have helped. I understand the part about thunderstorms and the lightning. I think these are issues that you can't actually predict, and you can't do anything about it. But again, it's about the timing of a tournament, and that is why I think maybe, just as they did for the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, they could have studied the US terrain very well and knew when it was appropriate to roll on board such a tournament. That is for FIFA. Again, the scheduling of games. We've not really had much complaints about the games that kick off at a later time, but it's mostly the early kickoff games that bring on issues about heat and all that, because if a game is starting like 4 p.m. here in Ghana, it means that it is like lunch time in the US, and they are in the summer. They are not used to such weather. So I think FIFA could have done better in terms of scheduling the games at times where it would have been more convenient, and also it would have been appropriate for most of these teams who've been complaining, because most of the complaints stem from the first games, the early kickoff games. The later games don't really have much of that issue. But then again, I cite what FIFA could have done to make this better. I also think these clubs knew beforehand the times that they will be playing. And I think that for everything that happens, for instance, if I am Asante Kotoko and I am set to go for a preseason campaign in South Africa, Kotoko is set to play a game against Kaizer Chiefs. I send an advance party to go there and observe issues about accommodation, transportation, and even weather conditions, timing, everything. So if I am Manchester City and I am set to play, let's say, one game in Houston at a 12 p.m. kickoff time, I need to send an advance party, go there, observe these things, and come report, because these are situations that will affect the playing body and then their performance. So you send an advance party, they go there, prepare a report, submit it to the team, and then they already have this thing in mind. So they will model their training around such a time, they will know how to endure and everything. But if you don't do that and then you come out to complain, I don't get it, honestly. Didn't Manchester City know they will play at an early kickoff time? Didn't RB Salzburg know they will play at such a time? You knew. So if you knew, what tailored, measured approach did you adopt towards enduring such an instance? You don't go through such a process and come out and complain. And much of the complaint has come from the European sides, just as Calvin mentioned. The European sides are the ones who are mostly complaining as regards weather and everything. Just as countries, clubs, players have had to adapt to typical European weather. When they went for the World Cup in Russia and everything, they had to adapt because they were not used to how cold it was, even though it was in the summer. So you need to adapt. And this is for a period. It is not something that is you are going to do for a consistent period. It's just for a period. And if you are playing like an early kickoff game, I don't think all your games are early kickoff games. So I understand the part where they raise concerns about the heat and everything. And this is just to give FIFA an idea of how to properly schedule games for the World Cup and all that. But in all this, I think the clubs could have done themselves better service than just go play and then come complain later, when they could have just sent an advance party, go observe, advise accordingly. Then we will know how to go about things. But if you're not doing that, and then I even saw pictures of Dortmund players in the dressing room watching games, I was like, come on, guys. You have to just move outside the stadium to the dressing room just to watch a game because it was so hot. I think they can do better than some of these overly dramatizing situations and making it look like it is hell in America. I don't think it is. It is just that they've been shocked or they've been surprised by what they've had to endure. But then again, I think FIFA can do better in terms of scheduling some of these games. They will receive the report from the tournament after its completion, and then they will advise themselves as they approach the World Cup next year.
Right, Michael, thank you very much for your thoughts on this matter. The competition returns tomorrow with the quarter-final clashes. The first game would be at 7 p.m. between Fluminense and Al Hilal. And on Saturday at 1 a.m., Palmeiras will take on Chelsea Football Club. The competition continues on Saturday at 4 p.m. with Paris Saint-Germain taking on Bayern Munich, and Real Madrid would play Dortmund on Saturday at 8 p.m. So the equation of 8 becoming 4 as we seek to find teams that would make it to the semi-finals of this year's Club World Cup. But this is still the Sporty Breakfast live on Sporty 106.1 FM. And away from the Club World Cup, we'll shift focus to the Wimbledon Championship currently ongoing in Great Britain. At the All England Lawn Tennis and Crochet Club in Wimbledon. SW19 they call it. On the Church Road, Wimbledon, and already some major casualties already recorded in the competition. Defending champion Carlos Alcaraz is through to the third round of the competition and is on a 20-match winning streak. Yannick Sinner also would be, he's also progressed to the next round of the competition. Novak Djokovic has also advanced to the next stage of the competition, and lots of games to look forward to. But interestingly, lots of carnage has hit lots of the top seeds. Now, only 19 out of the 32 have made it to the second round, and the second fewest since the seeding began. Alexander Zverev was kicked out of the tournament in a 5-set thriller against Arthur Rinderknecht. And then we also saw Daniel Medvedev also kicked out by Benjamin Bonzi, Francis Tiafoe beaten by Cameron Norrie, and lots of big boys have been kicked out of the competition. And the women's WTA as well, the women's singles, only one top 5 seed is alive after a record rush of upsets. Now, world number 1 Aryna Sabalenka survived a tricky second round tie break, but 8 out of the top 10 women were gone by Wednesday night. Coco Gauff is out, Jessica Pegula number 3 is out, Zheng Qiwen number 5 is out, Paula Badoza number 9 is out, Yasmin Paolini number 4 was kicked out by Kamila Rakimova in round 2, and 2023 champion Marketa Vondrousova also kicked out by Emma Raducanu. It's been a dramatic competition so far. But Kelvin, let me pick your thoughts on what we've seen so far in the men's WTA singles contest. We've seen Yannick Sinner, Carlos Alcaraz, Novak Djokovic, the usual challengers all in there. But there've been some major shocks. What do you make of what we've seen so far in the first 3 days?
Well, I've been very much impressed with the kind of competition, the non-seeded ones are given to the seeded ones, especially the complacency from the top seeds that have forced them to exit. For the men, Francis Tiafoe yesterday, Cameron Norrie was just too exciting, too good for him. He won the first, but Cameron came into the rest of the final 3 sets in some blistering fashion, just dispatching him off 6-4, 6-3, 7-5, and you could only see that it was Tiafoe trying to come in the last set, but it was just too much for him. He just couldn't come in, and Norrie, by virtue of home advantage too, with the fans behind him, just took advantage of it to finish very hard. We've seen a number of games. Yesterday I was watching that, Kashanov match, and it was also quite interesting with Mochizuki. He had to travel 5 sets. He lost the first set, got the second. Shintaro managed to come back to get the third set, to get 2 sets, trying to finish off the third, but he couldn't, as Kashanov won 6-3 and then 6-4 eventually in the fifth set. Progressions for Rublev, not very much surprising. After, the first round, where he was a bit complacent and nearly, lost it out. This time around, he came out with all the fire and make sure that Oliver Tavet, who is a young English trying to get through the ranks, was just gotten off in a 6-1, 6-4, 6-4 victory. It was just interesting and exciting to see that as well. Jordan Thompson making that progression, Mattia Bellucci, all these guys making that progression. I think that Taylor Fritz also making it. It was quite impressive to see all these big guys going in. It's just the women who have quite disappointed, but
major upsets in
it had to come. And the reason why Arina Sabalenka, even with her yesterday, the first set, it nearly slipped out of her hands against Mary Buskova, but in the second one, 6-4, clearly at least given her dominance. And I'm sure she just realized, no, if I decide to joke trying to save my energy for the subsequent matches, I may be surprised. But she managed to make that progression. But for the second to fifth top seeds in the women who have failed, it's quite interesting. I was thinking, come on, these are ladies who should at least make the progression even to the quarterfinal stage. But they just got off, and I'm like, why? What happened? And Naomi Osaka, prior to the tournament, said, if the top seeds are thinking that there's going to be another, smooth run for them in the opening stages, then they should rethink, because the kind of energy that is coming from those who are outside the top 10, top 20 is immense. And I think that was what transpired. Maketa Vondrousova, many were thinking Emma Raducanu, with a poor run in the last couple of months and years, was going to face another exit. But Emma, I'm sure, home advantage to giving her some new vibe, a former champion wanting to bounce back strongly. That was a very good victory. Elena Svitolina also not giving anything to chance, as well as Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova also making sure that she made that progression. It's been great. It's been immense, and then we just hope that things would continue to pan out beautifully in the next couple of rounds that we are going to see today. Yes, we should expect some very good games that will be coming up, and I'm sure the surprises will continue. I love to see the surprises, especially when the top seats are in that corner, and then they would have to fight for it.
Right, just like Kelvin was saying, Coco Gauff is out, Jessica Pegula is out, Zheng Yimwen is out, Yasmin Paulini, she's also out. So that's just one out of the top 5 seats are currently surviving in the competition. There's a lot to look forward to today as well. And I don't know if Michael is still on the line. Michael, are you still with me? Okay, I think Michael. Okay, Michael, are you still with me? Oh, no, I think Michael is with us. But Kelvin, some interesting games to look forward to today. Daniel Evans will take on Novak Djokovic. Iga Swiatek will take on Cathy McNally. And then Yannick Sinner will take on Alexander Vukic, who could be another surprise package in there. And there's Mira Andreeva also coming up against Lucia Bronzetti. Maria Sakkari will take on Elena Rybakina. Jack Draper will take on Marin Cilic. And ahead of this game, Draper has been saying a lot, definitely having the fans behind him. There's a lot being said about him. We'll see how things pan out for him. Lots of games today, Alex.
There's Dimitrov against Corentin Moutet. I'm looking forward to that. I think it's at 11:30. So we just hope that today the weather will be favorable so that the games won't delay. And
already lots of games have been interactive already. So we'll see. There's also Maketa. Okay, no, that's Veronika Kudrametova versus Emma Navarro. And there's also Daria Kasatkina versus Irina Kamila Begu. She's also one of the promising ones there. And then there's Gal Monfils taking on Maton Fuxovic. Some interesting games to look forward to.
You'd always want to watch Monfils because of the drama, the intrigue he brings to, the tennis games. What you don't want to see. He makes, watching tennis be like watching a movie. So I'll be looking forward to also watching that. And I think Fuchsovitz is one of the very good players whose tenacity is difficult to, match up. So wait to see. Aging Guy Monfils, but we'll see whether he can match up, the energy from the young lad.
Right, there's a lot to look forward to at the 138th installment of the Wimbledon Championship, and it's the third major Grand Slam of the year 2025. We'll see how things pan out for some of the top seeds in there, and we'll see which surprise packages could upset the status quo. This is still the Sporty Breakfast Live on Sporty 106.1 FM. There's a rugby conversation on the show this morning. Rugby league football. Alan, come and see me in the studio this morning. I have some big men joining me. So there's a Rugby El Clasico happening this weekend. And the Rugby League guys are here with me. They will be telling us exactly what to look forward to this weekend. It's week 7 of the ongoing Rugby League 13th Championship. And it marks the end of round 1. And it's set for the climax with a thrilling showdown. Last year's champions, the Bulls, currently sit second on the table and are preparing to face the unbeaten 2025 leaders, the Scoreless. And anytime these two teams meet, I hear it's full of drama. The Scoreless have won all their matches so far, while the Bulls have picked up just 3 wins and 1 draw. The Scoreless have, definitely a very good squad and are currently sitting top of the table with 12 points, closely followed by the Bulls with 10 points. So, what makes this game very exciting? What makes this game the El Clasico? And what makes this game the game to look forward to this weekend? There's crucial 3 points at stake when these two teams meet. And historically, both teams have tasted glory. The Scoreless are 3-time champions, while the Bulls have lifted the trophy twice. That's all to play for this weekend. It's Rugby League football. It's the Bulls versus the Scoreless. This is Sporty FM, and this is the Sporty Breakfast Live on Sporty 106.1 FM. Now, my guests in studio, and let me see. Where do I start from? Now, if you're not watching us, you're missing out. Come and see the Scoreless. You see the Scoreless. You have the big men here and the Bulls. Wow. This is an El Clasico. So I'll let my guests introduce themselves. I don't want to do too much talking this morning. So I want them to have the floor, and then we'll have a conversation around the game. So to my immediate left, I have.
My name is Emmanuel Champon. My friends call me 2Ks, and I play for the Ghana Scholars Rugby League team.
Right. What position do you play?
I play as a forward, second row.
Right. Second row forward. Yeah, Charlie, you have to teach me all these positions. So. And then I also have.
Yeah, I took Kwame now for Cleland. I play for Bulls RFC, and we defeated. We broke the dominant run of the Scoreless last season to win the championship.
Right. What position do you play to?
I'm also a forward. I'm a loose forward.
Right. And then I also have to my immediate right.
All right. So my name is Elvis Ayete. I play for the Scoreless Rugby League Club. I'm a forward player as well, second row.
Right. Hey, so I have all forward players. Okay. And I have the...
I'm the general manager and then the matchmaker.
The matchmaker?
Yeah.
See, I almost introduced the matchmaker as one of the players.
No.
No, because you are looking like, you play for the Bull or the Scholars.
I'm a retired player. I lost...
Did you ever play for the Bulls?
No. So I have my own club. We are called Accra Panthers. This year hasn't been good.
You don't perform?
No, this year hasn't been good. This year hasn't been good. Yes.
They don't perform. Well, let's get into the conversation. Let me start with you, Jafar. Give us a brief background on the games and how we've reached this stage and what actually got us here and why this game is very important.
Okay, so we've played for 6 years running, and for some time now we've had a game being won by Scholars and Bulls. Bulls won the first edition, and then Scholars followed, winning 3 times, and then Bulls took over again. We are playing 2 rounds this year. What is going to happen is most of the teams are ready and are willing to win the tournament, but it always looks like it's going to Scholars and it's going to Bulls. Bulls are saying that they don't want to let hold of the trophy because it feels nice. They are even saying Scholars have a cabinet but without any trophy. The Scholars are also saying that they are tired. They want to go to Obasi because the goal is too much. But the talk is here. Sunday will show who actually wins. The person who wins will go on top in the first round. We have second round. After the second round, and the second and third will play a playoff, and then there's the finals in September.
Right. Let me start the conversation with the Scholars, and they are currently top of the table, and they are looking to pick maximum 3 points to consolidate their lead at the summit of the table. Now, let me pick your thoughts. You are currently the top team. What has driven you this far in the competition this season, and what's actually kept you focused up there? What's kept you up there throughout the season? What's been the game changer for you this season?
We are the best team and we lost last year, so the hatred, the shaming on internet, it forced us to get better.
Right.
Always when we are playing, everybody's against us because we are the best. It happens in sports, and that keeps us on our toes, and we want to get better. So we have the more experienced side, we have the better players, and we keep our cool because at the end we know that we are better than anyone we are up against.
Yeah. Let me pick the thoughts of your teammates as well. And I'm speaking to the Scholars, and they are currently top of the Rugby League table. They have 12 points, closely followed by the Bulls, who have 10 points. And there's a big game between the Bulls and the Scholars this weekend. Now, let me also pick your mind on this. How strong are the Scholars, and who are some of the key players who have made your team very strong this season? Because last season it didn't look like you were really in there. What has changed the level of play for your team this season?
Okay, so I think we have some players like Emmanuel Champon, assistant coach for my club, myself, Elvis, Riddick, who's also a forward player, and we have Dagama. We just have skillful players and forwards, big guys who know what to do. And I think comparing them to other clubs, we have forward players who are able to run like back players, They have the speed, agility, and all that. And I think what makes us special is that we stick to our structure. So discipline is one family, so we stick to our structure, whatever we are told. So a big shout out to our coach too. I know his tactics are very good, so once he gives it out, we try to stick by it, and it always works.
Yeah.
So once you stick to your structure, then that is it. So I think the individual players do have their own, style that comes together as a team to make it impossible to lose games. It was unfortunate we lost last year, but this year we've come back harder.
Right. So. Let me speak to the Bulls, who would be challenging the Scholars this weekend as they seek to win the championship. Now, you won the championship last season, and you go into this one as the defending champions.
Unbeaten.
Yes. You are still unbeaten this season, but you find yourself 2 points behind behind the Scholars. How come you haven't been as dominant as you were last season this season?
Well, for Bulls, I wouldn't say in all the seasons that we've won the league, I wouldn't say we have been totally dominant, but for the Bulls club, my compatriots, they mentioned how they talked about being the best, being skillful, and that's all true. I'm not going to deny it and say that that's not true. That's true. They have the bigger guys, they have the more skillful players, but if it comes to rugby league is not about individual players. it comes down to what you can do as a team. So it's about that togetherness. We've always been about defining expectations. Everybody likes a good underdog story, and that's what Bulls is. That's what Bulls will give you, and that's how come we are able to beat them when it matters most. Yes, they've won 3 times. They won 3 times in a row, but we were able to break that duck, and we won last season, and we won it convincingly. We went unbeaten. So far they are also unbeaten in the league, but let's see if they can replicate what we did last year. I don't think it's a possibility anyways, but they are talking the talk, so let's see if they can walk the walk.
Right, Jafar, this is a final, right?
Yeah. Okay, so it's a final game for the first round.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's basically a game that will determine who goes, who ends the first round with a win. Okay. And normally what happens is it doesn't change that much. So if you lose now, the possibilities are very, very difficult to come back. On record, normally Bulls in the first round wins the match, and then Scholars wins when it matters the most.
Okay.
But this year, everybody is saying that they are winning. They are not even stopping. They are not even deciding whether you are winning first or second. They are winning everything, and I think that is what you should come and watch. Scholars have a lot of players in the national team. Bulls have a lot of players in the national team. They have the man of the match in their team also. They have the technical director as their coach. Scholars have the national team captain in their corner, their coach, and then their player. So there's a lot to look out for. There's going to be a lot to watch. Bulls have players all the way from Cape Coast, prison officers and everything. Everybody's coming. Nobody's being left out. So I think everybody around who want to see something nice this Sunday should come to the rugby field and come and watch. University of Ghana, to be precise.
Let me get into a bit of the game strategy and strengths. Let me start with the Scholars. Where do you think this game could be won or lost for you, the Scholars?
It's about composure, because rugby is very tough, and it's hard to keep a cool head when you are down. So it's about composure for us. And if we keep our head in the game, we are going to come out victorious. And I want to tell Bulls that they should make sure we don't score the first 2 tries. If we score the first 2 tries, it's going to be a blowout. Over 40 points. And I'll tag Sporty FM on social media. To see what happened. That's what I have to say.
Right. I have quite an unfair balance here. You see, the Scholars have even more men here than the Bulls.
I think
that's fine. That's fine.
The fear has started from here.
It's fine.
So still on the Scholars, you know your opponents very well.
Yeah, we do.
What are some of the strengths and weaknesses of the team you want to exploit? I know I don't want you to give away too much tactical information, so they go and prepare for you. But what have you identified about their team that you can easily capitalize on and punish them?
Oh, so for the Bulls team, I think they have a lot of forward players compared to back players, and they are huge, big, So I think it's a matter of the hats too when it comes to playing with Bulls. So we have equally big players and smaller players that are the back players. So they quite find it difficult when it comes to running across the field. So that is just one they should go and work on. Also, they struggle moving up and down. So that's one tactic we are going to use against them. But then that is just something small. The rest is in the corner.
Right. Yeah. So for the Bulls, they say they are heavy. They say you can't run. How are you going to deal with these Scholars who seem to have you very well figured out?
So before we came in here, we were talking about how in all their seasons that they've even won, they've been champions, right? Usually it's a double-legged game, right? We always manage to win one. So there has never been a season where they've been able to beat us completely, and they've always been there. These guys have played all those 3 seasons where they won. So I don't know where this is coming from. But like I said earlier, our team is about defining expectations, right? You look at us and think that these guys will not be able to meet up with them. But most of the games that we've played is always a very close scoreline, and it's usually a very low scoring affair compared to other matches as well. So I believe this season we've not been very good, right? But I feel like we are building momentum, we are gaining momentum, right? In our first match, we struggled to win a game which should have been very easy for us to win. Our second game, we drew. Then our third game, we were able to secure a win. So I feel like we are getting there, and I think we might peak during their game, and it might it might be very bad for them. You know, these are big guys as well. They say we can't run up and down the field, but that's where strategy comes in. Okay. Rugby league is about strategy, it's about cohesion, playing to your strengths, and that's what we are going to do. So I don't really think that they will be able to beat us as they think, and I like the way they believe that they can beat us convincingly this season, just because we've not been best good. But they should remember that the trophy is in our house. So if they want, they can come home. They should come for it. We are home. You know.
No, but you know, listening to you, you know, there's almost an admission that they are better than you this season.
No, so that's what I said in my earlier submission. That on paper they've always been good. Okay. They've always had the individual talents,
and
but
this season too, they've been better.
Yeah, on the field, they've been better. I don't lie, but I'm always saying that in past seasons where we've not even played very good against other clubs, when it comes to scholars, we always rise to the occasion. You know, we always rise to the occasion because we know that, like you guys put it, this is the El Clasico of the rugby league, and there'll be a lot of people there to watch as well. So yes, I mean, we'll call on the fans to come and support us too as well.
Talking about watching, Jafaru, where are we going to see this game? Where is this game happening and what time?
So the University of Ghana Rugby League Stadium is on Sunday. It's exactly 12 o'clock. That's the first match. It's exactly 12 o'clock. It's that big. We are streaming the match live, so everybody can watch. And we'll be giving live updates. As and when it happens. Last year the scores was 12-6, like just one try and a kick, and then it would have been a draw. And they've played matches that had gone late into the night, but for floodlights, yes, they are that good.
So the game starts from 12.
Yes, so this match is from 12. It's 2 hours, so 12 to 2 they should be done.
Okay, so it could go all the way.
Okay, so they played. Yeah, if there's a tie in, I think 2 years ago there was a tie between them in the finals, and their match was the last match of the day. That was 4 o'clock. It ended close, so it's like 6:15, 6:20. Wow. Yeah, and it's a game to watch. I wasn't there on the day, and I was just checking live scores, and it was this wins, this one scores, this one replied, this one scores, and it was very, very nice. Right. And I think people should come and watch. This is the game that will define the sports.
Right. Let me get back to my scholars. Big game coming up for you this weekend. I know you've done your preparations and all. Are you going to win this match?
Oh, definitely, 100% sure. The Bulls players, they know themselves. I just hope his teammates will have the confidence he's having now, because most of them look up to us. Yeah. They watch our videos and they know how good we are. They learn from us. So I don't think you can be the master. But he's very confident here. He's speaking big English, but we'll find out on Sunday.
Right. And final word to the scholars. Any message for your fans out there? What should we expect from the scholars on match day?
Oh, nothing but the best, because we always produce and we always give them what they want. You know, when they are coming out, they come out to see us. And there's also one thing that usually happens when everyone is winning, the field is quiet. But when Scholars is losing, that's when everybody makes noise. So you can tell that everybody's against Scholars. Right. I don't know if they like us in their own homes, and when they come to the field, they want to make it look like, you know. But then we always give them what they want, because they would like to come see Scholars play, and we always produce it. So that's what we are going to give them, nothing but the best. So they should expect it.
Right. Yeah. The Bulls. The Bulls. Almost like the Scholars have subdued you in the studio this morning. But are you going to win this game?
Oh yes, we can.
Okay. Well, final words to your fans, and what should we expect from the Bulls this weekend?
So I mean, everybody likes a good underdog story. So if they want to see something like that, if they want to see those who have been belittled win, you know, because that's what we did last season. We dethroned them. You know, they believed so much that they would win the season. I think they got complacent, and that's what happens to them. So complacency actually can be, you know, can kill you, and that's what will happen to them come this Sunday. So I really entreat all our fans, or all those who want to, you know, see a spectacle, come and see rugby league.
Right. Jafaro, let me give you the final word. Rugby league football is becoming popular in Ghana. For those who want to join the rugby league, how do they get in touch with you? And how have Ghanaians really come to accept rugby league football? And what are the plans for the remaining year?
Okay, so if you want to get in touch with us, you can follow us on our socials, Rugby League Federation Ghana, or you can call 020 08024999699. You can also check our YouTube page for all the videos and all the stuff going on. You can visit us at the University of Ghana. So this is the catch. All the people who come around stick around.
Okay.
So I just entreat everybody to just come and watch, and you won't regret coming to watch. You would want to be there every Sunday, especially when these two are meeting. You would want a repeat even then next week Sunday. So I want to entreat everybody to come around, come and watch something nice.
So what's the plan for the rest of the year as far as the Rugby League is concerned?
So in the immediate, after the first round, the second round starts July 27th. It's going to run for 7 weeks. The finals will be on September 28th. Immediately after that, September 29th, the women are going to Nigeria for a tournament. Nigeria is going for a World Cup qualifier in Ireland. So we are going to give them a run for their money. We are going to show them that we are going to check whether they are prepared or not.
Right.
Then in November, Roots Rugby is coming to Ghana. It's a US team. They are coming to play the national team, both male and female. And then Nigeria also come back again and play the male and the female. So anybody who wants to see Rugby League, just come to the University of Ghana every Sunday. And then this is first. Cambridge University is coming next year, July. So everybody should watch out. We are bringing Cambridge University to Ghana. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much. Jafaru Awudu Mustafa is the General Manager, Rugby League Federation Ghana. Let me say a big thank you to Booster Kwamina Afo Cleland. Thank you very much for joining me, Kwamina. I wish your team all the best.
Thank you.
And hopefully on Monday,
it'll be fine.
I'll be getting the scores here.
You get it. There'll be some body pains, but we'll be fine.
Right,
we'll be fine. Yeah,
right.
it's fine.
Let me say a big thank you to my scholar stars, Elvis Aite and Emmanuel Amoa Champo. A big thank you to you for joining me on the show. And I wish you all the best
thank
you try to wrestle power from the Bulls this weekend. We wish you well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. And that was the team from the Rugby League Federation Ghana with General Manager Jafar Audu Mustafa and the Scholars and Bulls players, Elvis, Emmanuel, and Kwame are joining me on the show this morning. They have a big game coming up this weekend. It's the El Clasico for Rugby League football. It's Scholars versus the Bulls. And all roads will lead to the University of Ghana Stadium, University of Ghana Rugby Stadium. And the game would start at 12 noon. So this Sunday, we are all going to the University of Ghana Rugby Stadium for that big game between the Bulls and the Scholars. Scholars currently top of the table on 12 points. The Bulls second on 10. And there's 3 points to fight for in this one. It's the El Clasico of the Rugby League, and it's a big game to look forward to this weekend. 12 noon at the University of Ghana Rugby Stadium. We have you covered. We bring you updates on our Sporty FM social media platforms. And of course, the Rugby League will also be updating all the followers on their social media pages. And this is how we draw the curtain down on today's edition of Sporty Breakfast. A big thank you to the entire production team, Immortal Ejakwe Champions, Abigail Sena Susu, Emmanuel Ayamga, Flyboy, and then Fidelis. I started the show with Nathan Kwao, who will be bringing you Inside French Football at 10:05 a.m. Right after Inside French Football, the news at 12 comes your way with Kelvin Owusu-Ansah or Emmanuel Andam. And at 12:30, the Sporty Blog with Nana Kwame Labi and the rest of the team, Immortal Ejakwe Champon and Eustace Akwe. At 4 p.m., Sporty Drive comes your way with Fifi Banton. And that's European Nights at 7 with Kosi Fiaka and the rest of the team. Keep listening to Sporty 106.1 FM in Accra, 102.5 in Takoradi, and 91.3 FM in Kumasi. And keep enjoying our programs. We are the voice of sport.